and welcome back. This is a part 2 of creating journal pages, and on my table here I have got out the supplies that I'm going to use to decorate my painted papers. I've got carved stamps, stencils, foam stamps, collage papers, glue, rollers and everything that I'll need. So here I'm deciding what papers I'm going to decorate first. With this little piece that I pulled out of my stash, I'm looking at perhaps pulling out that green, that sagey green colour, and because this has got similar colours on it, I'm going to use the same stamp. So this is one of my carved stamps, and I've decided on the sage green and a grass green. And you'll notice that I load up my stamp with both colours, half and half, or in part. I just think this gives it a nicer effect. And here I am stamping some off the page, and they don't all need to be clear and crisp, which is why I often keep stamping until there's no more paint left on the stamp. So I'm going to do the same to this small piece. But I'm thinking that it's suited more just to for that subtle, light sage green. So now I've cleaned up the stamp, and I'm thinking I'll use the back stamp design. So I'm going to look through my papers and see which one I want. Here, this one's a nice one. And what I'm thinking is I'll put some more purple and that lovely bright blue back on it with the stamp. Using the colours that are already in the background on the stamp just gives it variety, and it blends into the background rather than, as you see, it layers in. So as for the first stamp, I'm loading up a bit of each colour so they blend in better. And always make sure to stamp some off the page. And this sheet, I've decided on some stenciling, using that light sage green again, but I'm adding some purple. So for this sheet, I've decided to do some collage. I've got a bunch of book pages here, and I quite like journal page when I'm flicking through my journal and I come across a page that has a bit of collage already on it. I quite like that. So here, what I do is just randomly cut up, tear up pieces of the book pages and glue them down. I'm using a glue stick, but if you're a bit worried that the glue stick mightn't last and you'd prefer it to be a little bit more permanent, or to be sure it's a bit more permanent, you can use PVA or any other sort of stronger glue. But I've had really good results with this Yoo-Hoo glue stick. So I'm just randomly placing pieces. And something that I like to do when I'm creating journal pages is I like to leave space, because I do a lot of writing in my journal. I like to have decorative pages, but I also like to have some fairly plain space that I can do a lot of writing. If you prefer just decorated pages, you can just keep layering and layering and layering, much as I do with collage papers. It's entirely up to you. So for this piece, I decided that it was looking a little bit dull and I wanted to bring the brightness back into the page. So I'm going to do some collage on this one as well, but I'm using bright collage papers. I decided to come back to this one as well and do some stamping, add a bit more to it. And I'm also going to do some stamping on this one as well. I'm using my circles carved stamp and some gold paint. For this sheet, I decided to do a combination of sponging and stamping. I'm using this piece of sponge that I've cut from an ordinary kitchen or car washing sponge, and I'm using white and turquoise paint. And the idea with sponging is to keep your wrist moving and try to use as little a touch as possible, so that it blends in better. And also use a damp sponge. And now I'm going to layer over the top of the sponging with some stamps. So I went on to finish all 8 sheets back and front using a combination of those techniques that I have shown in the video. And here I am looking at the finished pages. I cut each sheet up in half because that's more the journal size that I use. And here I am having a look at how they all turned out. Some you notice I didn't do any extra on them, like that pink page. I like to leave some fairly simple because I then do some collage or some painting or drawing on the pages when I come to them in my journal. I was really quite happy with some of these. That purple page is very interesting. So all these techniques, as I said earlier in the video, could be used to make collage papers, and you can just keep layering and layering and layering as long as you like. If you're going to make these for a journal, if you're making these pages for a journal, you can do them in your colours, your style, and you can do them like I have, leaving spaces for lots of writing, or you can decorate a lot more. And that page, you can see I didn't do anything extra on it, and I quite like the simplicity of that, the orange page with the diamonds. So now I've got all of these are ready for making into my own journals or binding into books that I make to sell. I'm also currently putting together some courses on using these papers, so keep an eye out for those. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, and bye for now.